suitable for general family viewing.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Grind. My name is Hibak Said. Welcome. Now this week we're going to be concentrating on security firms. We want to know how they're operating, especially in Kenya. These businesses usually do have a lot of work and they do have clients. We want to know how they're operating. Our entrepreneur of the week has extensive experience in this particular field. Maybe you can start by, introducing yourself. What is your name? Why did you go into security?
My name is Isaiah Kirema and I'm a CEO of Bell Security Services, and the reason why one would go to the business is in response to the need within our communities. And when we started our business back in 2011, and this was a response to a lot of insecurities. That time we had a lot of terrorist attacks, and everybody was now going to look at security in a different way. And that is basically how we started our business.
From 2011 to now, it's been such a long time. What has your experience been like? What has been the growth of your business?
The growth has been phenomenal, because now the security now becomes a very essential service within businesses, communities, within the public and private sectors, within other businesses that require security. And if you look at the security formation, there are different security formation. Probably is guards, talking about dogs. We are looking at other companies that still offer CIT, CCTV security as well, alarm responses, probably also access control. How do you ensure that people get to buildings and then getting their data and ensuring that their data is secure and all that. And also looking at event management. How do we manage huge events? People to be secure, people to know to have the direction. So basically, out of that now, that's how we've been able to grow our business in those key areas.
Let's talk about the range of services that you offer. You have mentioned a couple. There's digital security, but yours is more physical security. Tell us about the different services that you offer. What led to you choosing these services? How are your customers relating to this?
The bulk, definitely, as we look at the Kenyan market right now, has a lot of physical security that is there, and then of course you have to respond to that market first, even without going to other nitty-gritties. Although still our services are still embedded with other digital security as well. So when you look at now your customer needs, first of all you have to respond to that. So we are an ISO certified company. And for us now, we look at different products that we offer. So the biggest portfolio is on static guards, who guard buildings, who guard businesses, and who guard different areas. Then we have now the dogs themselves, where we breed dogs. We also offer dogs to our customers. We also have, offer alarm services to our customers. That's more of digital. So we also offer CCTV monitoring, not installation. So we can do installation, we can also monitor from remote locations. Then we're able to respond adequately to the customer needs. We also offer a vehicle tracking, and how do you ensure that if you have a sizable fleet, then you're able to come in as a security organization. Then we offer you that platform that you can be able to monitor and ensure that your vehicle are on a particular route at any given time, without now having either detours and all those kind of things, because you might be having all these tools but you're not able to monitor on a daily-to-daily basis. We also offer training, not only to ourselves but also to other people might require, let's say, emergency response. We do that kind of training. We also look at institutions that probably look at security preparedness. How are they able to even do mock security responses, let's say an emergency or fire or a disaster. So those are the areas that we thrive as an organization.
Isaac, we are aware that you have a lot of branches, not only here in Nairobi but other parts of the country. Where are these branches? Why did you diversify into other cities? Where are you going next?
So our initial city where we started is in Meru. That is where our brand started. And definitely it's, as you look at organically now, as you're growing from from outside Nairobi, then you have to crowd in within the Nairobi, where we believe that there's a lot of needs for security and even advanced security solutions. Now, organically, we found ourselves here because we find we have a client in Nairobi. How do we offer that service? So that's why we want to establish an office in Nairobi from our HQ in Meru. And also we have another office in Nakuru that is able to offer security services that enables us to be able to give that area more effective security services. So definitely, without having the branches, then you are not able to like offer security within a huge area network. Because now, if there is a customer in Mombasa, how do you serve that customer? So we can't say we are not responding to that customer, and that is how we found ourselves having different now offices within Kenya. So.
Right. You've been in this business for more than a decade, and things are always changing. How would you say this industry has been evolving over the years?
When we started, this industry was not regulated. But if you look since 2019, the government now has been coming in to start now in terms of regulating the businesses with the security industry. But initially, even before that regulation, we have an affiliation of the private security companies that have come up, and we have formed an association that is able to have self-regulation, determination of how we are supposed to offer security, but still we have still a lot of work to be done so that everybody is highly regulated. The government is doing well, and but again also the regulations are coming like boom, so very fast, without now having a long time in terms of able to focus and do the right investments to answer that response. And basically you're looking at things like minimum wage for our guards, for our staff, so that you're able to ensure that everybody is okay. Then also looking at how are we also able to be compliant to other government policies, taxation, VAT, and all those kind of things. And also how do we probably also grow as a professional security providers. So definitely now there's more regulation that is in right now as opposed to when we started. So it was like a free-for-all in 2013, 2011, 2015. But now I think there's a very clear demarcation in terms of advancing the security regulation in Kenya right now.
There are perks, of course. There are some things that usually you look at this business and you're telling yourself, this is why I'm doing this. But there are challenges as well. Could you just tell us maybe what are some of the perks of this business and what are the challenges you face?
First of all, if you look at our business, it's highly driven by personnel. So therefore, this becomes a huge challenge. Because now, normally you're looking at personnel, you're looking at people who are supposed to go and offer this service to customers. So, and finding very right blend of people, sometimes that becomes a challenge. Then secondly, so training is also a big component in terms of training, because you have to train people and then you have to send them. These are huge costs as well for businesses like ourselves. Then remember also we pay for NITA, which is the government training program that is a slow, because now we have to really put training fast for our staff even before getting the assistance from the government through NITA. And then of course the regulation from the PSRA that we are supposed to, all the guards must be trained, then also must be compliant with what they call the guard force numbers. So these are huge challenge right now for every practitioner within the industry, where now we are supposed to be compliant to that effect of the guard force numbers. Of course, the other one is our customers. There is a slow economy, and especially in public sector, every single company that offers security in that space, you find that there is a huge debt owned by the county government, by the national government. Now this is slowly now creeping the small businesses, and they're not able now to perform because of these huge debts that is being owned by especially customers in that space. So that becomes a huge problem, a huge challenge as well. The other one, of course, is, as I've said, that the regulations have come like immediately without having a long term to be able to plan adequately for companies like ourselves and the rest of the companies. Of course, and also expansion. When now there is that now regulation, even going to get credit as a security company, everybody is worried that will you be there tomorrow. So then that you don't attract so much credit to the financials, because they say, now you guys, you are like a threat.
Right.
Yeah, so that becomes a huge challenge now that you're also facing, even from the banks, from the people are supposed, you're supposed to comply, a lot of compliance for us to attract reasonable credit for us to not to grow further.
Let's talk about competition a little bit. This industry, of course, does have other players. As a business, as a CEO, how do you remain at the top of your game? What's your edge exactly?
So first of all, we believe one of our biggest mantra within the organization is to be able to retain the good talents of people that are able to drive us to the next level. So without now retaining the right talent, then you're not able to be in competition. Secondly, we invest a lot of training, either in-house, also outsourced training, that you're able to keep on developing our people in response to things that are emerging, because there are a lot of emerging security issues. So by us having a very informed workforce, and also well-trained, then that really makes us the competition to be, we are more competitive, even looking at our peers. I believe, as you've said, there's a lot of competition from many companies that have grounded within the industry, but also things like now ISO certification that helps us now to be much better, because now there can be competition, but again there must be an edge in terms of your service, because our mantra is always continuous improvement of our service, and that's why we are now an ISO certified company. That makes sure that a customer who is getting our service, they are confident that they will get exactly a good service and be able to respond adequately to that. And of course, investment in terms of new products and looking at what is in offering in future, and even asking ourselves a very hard question, what the security in future will be. Right. Because now without looking at the future, that becomes a bit of a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Isaac, I'm seeing one of your service providers is also trying to chime into this conversation. We will go for a very short break. When we come back, we will have more information. Do stay tuned.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback, ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest of.
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that, is like.
We are talking about the security business this week. We have been, talking to our entrepreneur of the week. We're now going to our analyst of the week. Our expert of the week has been in this business for more than a decade. We want to know what exactly has been going on. We want to know what the trends are. Maybe you can just tell us some of the trends that you've seen. How exactly has this been changing? You've told me that you have physical services, but over time you've had to have digital services as well. What are the trends in this particular business?
So what you're seeing is that, first of all, like people who have been investing in CIT, now you see that trend now coming down, because there's a lot of people transacting the business money on the mobile phone. Therefore, meaning that those businesses, likelihood they might not grow exponentially, so there might be a reduction on that business. The number two, you're seeing that there's more people want to use more ICT tools. Let's say in small businesses in a big area, they may want to monitor their businesses at their comfort of their seats or their home, wherever they are. So therefore there is a more demand that is coming in, that now if you can install CCTV that has got even AI tools that are able now to be able to detect a problem when it comes in. So those are the new emerging areas that you are seeing, that the physical security might eventually reduce, and then you have to go to ICT monitoring. Then also in terms of the data capturing, where we have clients that really require data of their customers to be, to to be captured over time. So therefore, we are seeing now that there is new tools now where you only scan once and then you're able to keep that data in a space that is more compliant with the data regulation of data protection. So therefore, this is some of these innovations that you are seeing within the industry, that there is a lot of this reduction in terms of people writing and having this data, because once you write, we have seen in areas that this data can actually be taken up and then be used in the wrong way. So, but now there is a tools that we are seeing that this data is easily captured and then stored in an area that it's more secure. Then in terms of even alarm systems that we are seeing a lot of improved in GSM alarm tools that as opposed to ancient radio alarms, so which means that in that space is much easier getting in as opposed to way it was before. As I said, the communication right now we're using GSM as opposed to the radio waves, so which is really big innovation in terms of security company communicating and even getting edge in terms of the communication. As you know that right now everybody is in cloud, because right now we are in huge folders of personnel. Now right now it is much in soft, but now you can be able to say that even our offices are much portable, so I can move with my office anywhere, which initially that this was not the case. And even in court right now you can be able to it's allowable right now, because you're able to do a lot of that information much easier in case it's even required. So therefore this is really enabled us to be much leaner, because you're looking at even our companies becoming more leaner, and of course reducing at top costs where we have administrative cost, reducing that significant cost to be able to offer our to be able to offer our customers a very competitive service.
Right. Let's look at certification. You said that you are ISO certified, and for grinders who are watching this right now, they're thinking of starting maybe this business. They might be thinking, what documents do I need to start this? What are some of the paperwork that people need? Permits?
Okay, really getting to ISO certification, you don't require any permit, you don't require anything. But first of all, going to security company, you must, your company has to be vetted. It's highly vetting. Is another layer of vetting, not just starting a company today, then you start offering security tomorrow. So there's a lot of vetting. Once you are vetted in, you have to be now registered and compliant with Private Security Regulation Authority. Then they issue with a license to be able not to operate any security services. Then you're also supposed to be compliant on your tax issues. You have to be compliant with NSSF, NHIF, NITA, and also in some areas that you find that there is also the workers' unions. All these things you have to be compliant. Then if you are compliant with all those the government regulations, then you are supposed to look at internal regulations. That's where now the ISO now comes in. ISO is more of an internal processes that now you have to train your staff, you have to train everybody to be able to demonstrate that there is a continuous of your business in a certain format. Let's say the response time is supposed to be 5 minutes, you have to stick to 5 minutes, because that is the standards now. Those are more of internal standards that now you develop over time. So you develop internal processes saying that our internal processes look like this. So everybody now is onboarded with those internal processes, and then now you're able to be certified based on those internal processes. So that's now you attain your ISO standards. Yeah.
You have 4 branches, so of course this comes very naturally to you. But for the people who are watching this, they might be thinking, what are some of the steps I should be taking? So say when you were starting your business, what are some of the basics that you had to comply with?
Definitely, of course, the government regulations it's a must. And even we did not attain ISO standards in 1 year, in 2 years, because we had to really serve for almost 8 years for us to really believe in ourselves and say now we are ready to get to another level, because from the data that is available, that a business that is less than 5 years, it's likely to die. So at 8 years, their likelihood of survival. So at that time we felt that now we are likely to survive many years to come. And that's why now we had to go to the internal processes in terms of now developing what we call quality management system internally. Then that is more responsive to what we are giving out in terms of the service. Now, in terms of our offices, everybody now knows exactly what they're supposed to do, when and how, and exactly what reports that they're supposed to generate, and then how are they able to measure in terms of the impact for our quality management system. So just having that, knowing that you are there, now of course you get ISO is not a tool for us just to brand and say we have an ISO certification. Right. It's a quality management system that is internally, and it must be owned by everybody within the organization.
Right. And quality does beget success. Yeah. Let's talk about employees. This business requires employees. Of course, you've talked about, you have to be authorized and have to be acknowledged by NITA. Some of the things that you're doing to train your employees, are there special classes that they have to go to? What are the requirements as well?
So we have internal training as ourselves, where we do training for the guards. Then they're supposed to have a mandatory 14 days by the PSRA. So this training now helps them now to get what the guard force numbers. And now for them to get that training, there are licensed schools or academies that have only been licensed by PSRA to offer that training. That helps now them to move to the guard force number. So that's the layer of training. Now, there's also the continuous training in terms of, yes, you're seeing they have gotten the basic training for the security, but there's a continuous training, which we do internally. We have NITA certified trainers, PSRA certified trainers as well internally, to be able to continuously monitor our staff and look at the need for further training for the guards themselves. Internally, for the administrative team, we also do need assessments over time. And then once we see the areas of weakness, then at that one we bring now trainers, also outsourced trainers, to come and impact further knowledge. And also we see there are new emerging areas that we need to be trained on. We look at who is the best trainer, who are the best places. Do we now onboard our staff also to training institutions that can offer short-term courses for them to be more compliant to the specific areas that we believe that there's a need for it.
Now, policy changes do come once in a while. You do have the PSRA, who of course give some of the policies and regulations that you must comply with. There was a regulation on, the minimum amount that every single, guard should be getting. How do you work with these policies? What do you think about the regulatory authority? What do you think about regulations?
Regulations are perfect for any sector, so that everybody is compliant and regulated to a manner that it gives opportunities and professionalizing the industry. But some of the things that probably we are seeing in terms of regulation, we have no problem with them. If the customers are able to afford the service, the security services, we are fine with the regulation. But of course, there's an impact in terms of economics of our customers. So if the government, even the government ministries, they're able to pay for the service, we are good to go, and we are happy to provide the service and give our guards the minimum wage. But in an event where we're seeing that the customers, they are looking, especially the private sector customers, the small businesses, they're saying probably this is way too high for them to afford. And then probably now, that's where we ask now if the government can also look at looking at the typologies of customers, and then be able to develop let's say like 3 kind of customers, who is able to pay this, who is not able to pay this. Just like in the vehicles, you might find somebody buying a huge car that's buying small cars. They're not in the same position. So therefore, the regulation really must be tailored, and also must be demarcated to see who fits what. Just like bread, somebody will afford a whole bread, somebody else will afford half a bread, another person will afford a quarter of a bread. Right. So definitely you can't say we shall afford the same thing. Right. Yeah.
Now let's look into the future now. Of course, you have the future of your business, but there's also the future of the industry. Where do you see this industry going? Where do you see your business going?
As I've said, that the future still looks bright in Kenya, and we believe that based on the data is available, we believe that the space looks bright if the other businesses are able to perform better. Because our businesses mostly, either new development or the expansion of a business is a result of other businesses doing well. Let's say in farms that are here, if they decide to relocate, then our businesses shrink. If you'll be expanding, then definitely we are expanding as well. Because now we offer a huge number of employment. We pray and hope that the rest of the businesses in Kenya perform well, then we have more opportunities even for our people. Now, in terms of how are we moving in terms of our business, is we are still looking at the tools. Now we start onboarding in our business. Let's say ICT tools more, and looking at customers that are able to give us those opportunities, and even learning what will be the future. Is it the AI? Is it more of cameras? Is it less of guards? Then now we'll be able to integrate, and also who else can we come in and partner? Are there partners out there? Are there partners inside there that we can start partnering and even becoming bigger? Because now, as a single company, now we may want to bring somebody who has got other specialty, then we bring them or we join them so that we can even be bigger and better, because we may not have everything, but you can now bring an array of partners that you're able now to move in the future together, and we're open to that idea.
Right. Any word of advice for people who are looking to come into this business?
Yeah, the grass is still a lot, the opportunities are still a lot, but again, as they come in, they know that they have to be compliant, and then you can compete effectively in the industry. And I believe that there's an opportunity for everybody, and so long as now we are competing above board and above the table, not under the table. Yeah.
Right. Compliance is key. Make sure that you comply so that you can be competitive. And of course, you can give a fair chance to others, and a fair chance can be given to you as well. Do interact with us on our socials and on the numbers that are on your screen. We want to hear from you. We want to know what businesses you want us to cover. But for now, until next week, same time, same place, my name is Hibak Saeed. This is The Grind. See you next week.
We value your feedback.